It was a test from the CEO for the black cleaning lady, but her daughter gave him a life lesson. Night falls over San Francisco's financial district. Mirrored glass, cold lights, the silence of a rich building. The 57th floor breathes air conditioning and power. Selina Brooks arrives soaked from the drizzle. Simple sneakers, clean uniform, upright posture. She pushes the cleaning cart. Beside her, little Maya, 4 years old, clutches a soft blanket with silver stars. Big eyes, curious, tired. In the marble lobby, the security guard doesn't even smile. No kids upstairs, he says without making eye contact. Just today. Daycare is closed. It's a short shift, Selina replies, calm. Building policy. No badge, no access. A rushed executive crosses the lobby, shoots a look from above. This looks bad on the CEO's floor. The comment cuts like a blade. Maya lowers her chin. Selina breathes, steady. I'm just cleaning. 30 minutes. She stay quiet. The guard makes a call. Waits. Checks the time, impatient. From the radio, the cleaning supervisor's voice, authorize. Put a visitor sticker on her. He rips off a giant sticker, guest, and sticks it crookedly on Maya's tiny coat. Don't touch anything, he warns like a sentence. I never touch. What's not mine, Selina replies, without raising her voice. At the top of the building, the most expensive glass box in the city, Damien Rothwell's office. Italian leather sofa, oak desk, a black leather wallet in the center, deliberately visible. Next to it, a metallic card gleaming under the lamp, smell of expensive coffee and status. Damien lies on the sofa, jacket open, shirt sleeves rolled. Up, pretends to sleep. His breathing is measured. The door, half open. No interruptions unless I call, he'd told his assistant. Tiny hidden cameras blink an almost invisible dot. A staged game. The elevator opens. Silent hallway. Carpet that swallows footsteps. Selina enters first, checking desks, picking up glasses. Straightening chairs. Professional. Alert. Maya, fidgety hands, watches the city reflections in the windows. Stay here, sweetheart, says Selina, pointing to an armchair. Quiet. Mommy will be done soon. Okay, Maya whispers, hugging her blanket. Selina approaches Damien's desk. The shine of the card draws her attention. She deliberately looks away. Sprays, wipes with the microfiber cloth in precise, quick motions. Leaves no marks, no fingerprints, no presence. On the sofa, the most feared man in the valley stays motionless, eyelashes closed. But his ears are awake. He waits for the sound of the zipper. The touch on the wallet. The mistake. Nothing. Only the rustle of the cloth. The soft click of the spray bottle. And the quiet breathing of a child. Wow, Maya points at the window. It looks like light snow. Selina smiles slightly. It's the buildings. They shine and then go dark. Selina finishes the desk without touching the wallet. Straightens the little chair someone left crooked. Aligns the papers. The environment returns to a picture, almost perfect. Then Maya sees Damien. Big, stretched out, vulnerable. Is he sleeping? He is. And we don't bother people who are sleeping, Selina replies softly. Maya studies the tired face. The room is cold. The air hitting the leather sends a shiver up the man's arm. The girl presses the blanket to her chest. He's gonna feel cold, Mommy. Selina hesitates. Looks at the half-open door, looks at her. Daughter, remembers the guest sticker. The phrase in the lobby. The weight of judgment. Time is ticking. Maya, leave it. We're about to, but he's gonna get sick, she insists, sincere. Grandma always said nobody deserves to be cold. Silence. The city pulses below. The red dots of the micro cameras keep recording. Maya takes 2 steps. 3. Selina stretches her hand, holds her for a second. Come back, please. I'm just gonna cover him and come back, Maya whispers, determined. Tiny, she reaches the sofa. Gently lifts the starry blanket with childlike care. The fabric brushes Damien's wrist. He feels the touch. Warm, unexpected, human. Maya adjusts the blanket on his broad shoulders, smooths it with her palm, stands on her tiptoes to cover him better. Done, she says with quiet pride. Now he won't get sick. Selina watches him, tense. Thank you, sweetie. Let's go. She picks up the spray bottle, folds the cloth. Her eyes pass over the wallet again. On purpose, she nudges it slightly to the center of the desk in plain sight, untouched. A gesture, a message. Nothing here belongs to us. On the sofa, Damien keeps his eyes shut, but something in him cracks. The perfect script now has a flaw he didn't foresee. A gesture that can't be bought or controlled. Suddenly, the blue line of the intercom lights up discreetly on the desk. A light, a pulse. Mr. Rothwell, the assistant whispers through the line, voice low, formal. Compliance team in the hallway. The board asked to document your demonstration. Selina freezes. Blood goes cold. She notices the wallet on display, the camera in the corner, the door left open by design. A game, a trap, not an accident. Maya holds her mother's hand, not understanding. Mommy? Damien opens his eyes, slowly. Coldness back on his face, trying to smother what he felt. He looks at the wallet, looks at the blanket, looks at Selina and the child. A sharp knock on the door. Mr. Rothwell? Another voice. May we come in? Selina's breath catches for a second. Maya's hand squeezes tighter. Damien inhales, wrestles with himself, and presses the intercom button. Come in. The handle turns. Before we continue the story, I want to make a special invitation to you watching. Let me know in the comments where you're watching this video from. I'd love to know how far this story is reaching. And if you enjoy love stories full of emotion, intensity, and twists, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss a single chapter, and you'll be helping this space grow more and more. Let's go on this journey together. The handle finishes turning. The door opens. 3 executives walk in, followed by the head of compliance and a tall security guard with an earpiece. Brighter lights come on automatically, revealing the glass office on the 57th floor like a stage. The air is cold. The leather on the sofa creaks as Damien Rothwell sits up, composed again, the starry child's blanket still on his shoulders. Mr. Rothwell? The head of compliance asks, tablet already in hand. We're ready to begin recording. Damien adjusts his tie. His gaze turns to stone. Good. I want this resolved now. Selina Brooks, in a clean uniform and worn-out sneakers, holds Maya's hand. The girl presses the blanket against her chest. The guest sticker on her small coat looks far too big for her. Tiny frame. Explain why you brought a child to a restricted floor, says a gray-suited executive without even introducing himself. And why she approached the CEO during his rest. My daycare closed without notice. I asked for permission. She stayed with me the whole time, Selina replies, voice restrained, and she just covered you because the room was cold. The man in the gray suit writes something down without looking up. This could be seen as an attempt at inappropriate proximity. Boundary crossing. Everything is recorded. Damien crosses his legs. His tone becomes calculated. I left my wallet visible specifically to test boundaries. And the boundary was crossed. Bringing a child into my office, touching me while I rest? That's unprofessional. Maya takes a step back, confused. I just didn't want him to get sick, she whispers. The head of compliance turns the tablet screen toward the group. On the video, Maya walks over and opens the blanket. The paused frame freezes her serene expression. The security guard clears his throat, uncomfortable. A few executives take a slight step back, as if kindness could burn them. This can be interpreted as staging, comments a woman with her hair pinned back, cold tone. Using the child to generate empathy and gain access. Selina swallows hard. Blood rises to her face. Staging? I've been cleaning this floor for 8 months. Never took anything. Never asked for anything. My daughter is 4. The man in the gray suit closes his folder with a click. It's not about the past. It's about precedent. Today, it's a blanket. Tomorrow, what? Damien tilts his head, eyes moving from the untouched wallet to the child's blanket. He senses his own cruelty and hides it. I've been tested before, and came out on the losing end, he says, carefully choosing each syllable. Not here. Here I control the environment. Please open your bag, asks the head of compliance. Professional, without harshness, without warmth. Selina opens it. Inside, a sandwich wrapped in paper, a crumpled water bottle, a moon-shaped keychain, a worn-out children's book. Nothing else. See, says Selina, raising her hands. Nothing here belongs to us. We're not saying anything was stolen, replies the woman with the pinned-up hair. We're saying there was an attempt to manipulate perception. Optics matter. A short, poorly disguised laugh escapes from a younger analyst leaning against the glass wall. Climbing the ladder through narrative, he murmurs. The word narrative hangs in the air like dust. Maya, with wide eyes, looks around. Mommy, are we going home? We are, Selina replies, but her voice shakes. The security guard steps forward, extends his hand, asking for her badge. Protocol, ma'am. You're suspending me? Selina asks, chest lifted, wound open. Preventively, without pay, until the inquiry is completed, the head of compliance confirms. Hearing tomorrow at 9. If you don't show up, it will be considered abandonment. Damien closes his eyes for a moment. He feels the weight of the words without pay. He sees the cheap sandwich. He sees the small hand clutching the blanket. When he opens his eyes, he puts the emotional armor back on. Cold, impenetrable. It's to protect the company, Selina. Don't take it personally. How could I not? She replies, quiet but sharp. You're using my daughter as proof of my character. Man in the gray suit steps forward. You used your daughter to access this floor. There are cameras in the lobby. We have recordings of your conversation with the guard. We have entry logs. I asked for permission. And permission was granted, says Selina, composed, trying not to fall apart. The supervisor approved it. I came to work. That's what I do. The building has rules, the company has a reputation, and Mr. Rothwell has a schedule worth millions, recites the woman with the pinned-up hair as if reading from a manual. What we saw here compromises all of it. Damien could step in. He could say enough. Instead, he advances the narrative. Selina, the line between affection and strategy cannot exist on this floor. I don't tolerate gray areas. Or symbols. Maya, as if only understanding the melody of pain, says something that cracks the room in half. I'm sorry, mister. I just didn't want you to be cold. A heavy silence falls. The young analyst looks at his shoes. The security guard swallows hard. The head of compliance lowers the tablet for a second, affected against her will. The woman with the pinned-up hair puts her ice mask back on. This doesn't change the procedure. She concludes. You know how the city down there sees me? Selina asks, more to the glass than to the people. I enter through service doors. I wait for elevators you don't even know exist. I clean footprints you don't remember leaving. And still, My name is always the most fragile part of any story. Damien grips the armrest of the sofa. The starry blanket, slipping, rests on his forearm. He feels the soft fabric. An invisible blow hits the center of his chest. He takes a deep breath to kill the compassion. Security escort both of them to the ground floor, he orders, voice without emotion. Maya squeezes her mother's hand. Are we in trouble? No, my love, Selina whispers, hiding the tremble. We're just going to breathe. In the hallway, the eyes of those working late, IT staff, finance people, interns, follow the silent procession. Some look away. Others stare, curious. A few shake their heads as if the verdict is already clear. Shame becomes a heavy coat on Selina's shoulders. The elevator arrives with a metallic ding. The doors open. Inside, the mirror reflects three faces. A large man with a neutral expression. A woman trying not to cry. A girl with huge eyes, hugging a sky of sewn stars. As the doors begin to close, the head of compliance calls out, Ms. Brooks. Selina turns, one foot inside, the other out. Bring a representative tomorrow, if you wish. But be aware there's a preliminary recommendation for termination due to inappropriate conduct for covering someone with a blanket. Selina asks, exhausted. For using your daughter as a tool for proximity. The woman with the pinned-up hair states, firmly. The doors close. The elevator descends. Each floor is a jolt to the stomach. Maya rests her forehead against the glass. Why are they mad at us? Selina doesn't answer. The silence is a prayer without a church. Upstairs, alone, Damien stares at his own reflection. In the window, the city pulses like an electric circuit. His phone vibrates. A notification on the screen. File. Demonstration _57 floor.mp4 ready to send to the board. Below it, a preview freezes on a sentence picked up by the room's ambient audio, spoken by the assistant before the team entered. The board asked to document. Your demonstration. Damien doesn't move. His thumb hovers over send. The intercom beeps. Mr. Rothwell, local press is asking about a security incident in the building. Should we say it was a drill? He doesn't answer. He looks at the starry blanket on the couch. He looks at the intact wallet on the center of the desk, glowing under the lamp. The phone vibrates again, insistently. Selina and Maya reach the lobby. The same security guard who had placed the crook sticker pretends not to see them. A man with an investor badge walks by, talking loudly on the phone. Crises are great for cleaning up culture. The phrase hits Selina's ears like cold wind. Suddenly, Selina's phone vibrates in her bag. An unknown number. She answers by instinct. Hello? The voice on the other end is quick, tense, male, whispered. Don't hang up. I saw everything from the 56th floor. I have a copy of the audio. He staged it. Tomorrow bring courage. Selina's heart races. The building's elevator makes a sharp metallic click. Maya watches her, waiting for the world to be translated. Who are you? Selina asks. Just steady. For the first time that night. The line drops. The screen goes black. On the 57th floor, Damien holds the send button for another second. And before he decides, his office door opens without knocking. A shadow in high heels crosses the carpet, and a voice respected by the board asks, what kind of demonstration? Was this Damien? Damien Rothwell remains standing, motionless, before the window that overlooks San Francisco. The city lights blink like circuits, but his mind is somewhere else. The shadow from the board still lingers in the hallway. The words echo. What kind of demonstration was this, Damien? He doesn't answer. He just breathes deeply, eyes fixed on the child's blanket left behind on the sofa. Hours later, alone. Again, Damien replays the security footage. The screen lights up a face marked by exhaustion. He fast forwards and rewinds the video several times, looking for a flaw that might confirm his suspicions. The cursor stops on the scene where Maya approaches. Her childish, crystal-clear voice echoes from the speakers. "He's gonna feel cold, Mommy." Damien clenches his jaw. The video shows Selina deliberately avoiding the wallet, organizing the desk, leaving everything untouched. At no point does she touch anything that isn't hers. Just the steady movements of a worker used to being invisible. And the child small, covering him with a blanket that smells of a modest home, not manipulation. He pauses the video. Maya's gaze, frozen on the screen, hits him in an unexpected way. The purity disarms all his justifications. She didn't touch anything. Nothing, he murmurs to himself, as if trying to convince himself. The intercom blinks again. It's his assistant, Mr. Rothwell. The board is requesting a written report before the end of the day. Send them a rough draft. "I'll revise it later," he responds curtly, but his voice falters slightly. He slams the laptop shut, but the scene keeps playing in his mind. Maya pulling up the blanket, Selina pushing the wallet slightly to the center of the table, not to hide it, but to reaffirm integrity. All of it dismantles the narrative he himself had built. In the silence, Damien picks up the forgotten blanket and brings it to his face. The soft scent of cheap detergent and childhood hits him. For a few seconds, he's no longer the billionaire CEO, but the boy who once saw his own mother, a housekeeper, falsely accused of theft in a rich home. The memory rushes in uninvited. His mother's humiliated face, the coldness of the homeowners, his own powerlessness. He drops the blanket quickly as if it burned. Walks to the oak desk, runs his hand over the untouched wallet, closes his eyes. "I was wrong," he whispers, barely audible. But the sentence dies before it finds strength. Next morning, newspapers quietly print a note. "Security incident at tech company treated as internal drill." The board bought the official version. Damien reads the headline and crumples the paper. He knows it wasn't a drill. It was an attack on the dignity of a woman and a child. He decides then to dig deeper. He calls the security department.
"I
want full copies of all recordings from that night. Every camera on that floor. And don't log anything in the official system. Sir, should I mark it as confidential? Mark it as life or death." On the screen, watching angles he hadn't seen before, he notices details that had escaped him. Selina asking the guard for permission in the lobby, the humiliating visitor badge. Stuck on Maya's coat, the lowered gaze of someone who already expected not to be welcome. The weight of injustice sinks in. He closes his eyes and for the first time in years feels something crack inside. This wasn't just about Selina. It was about him. About an old wound that never healed, disguised under designer suits and $1,000,000 contracts. She's not like the others, he admits quietly, staring at his reflection in the glass. And I am no better than the people who destroyed my mother. A ping on his phone interrupts him. It's an anonymous message. You don't control the whole truth. Copies are already circulating outside the company. Damien turns pale. Who else had access to the video? Who was willing to expose the setup? Control, his most powerful weapon, begins to slip through his fingers. And with it, a guilt that can no longer be silenced. Rain pours over San Francisco, washing down the glass skyscrapers and the narrow streets of the outskirts. Damien Rothwell drives his black Range Rover through the city center, windshield wipers racing. His mind still carries the weight of the footage, the blanket left behind on the sofa, and the anonymous message from hours earlier. But suddenly, his eyes catch a scene that takes his breath away. On the soaked sidewalk, Lit only by a flickering street lamp, stands Selina Brooks. Her janitor uniform clings to her body from the rain, her loose hair stuck to her face. In her arms, Maya, wrapped in a damp blanket, trying to shield herself from the storm. Selina walks steadily, even with her feet in soaked sneakers. The scene is raw, desolate, and at the same time filled with a dignity he cannot ignore. Instinctively, Damien slams the brakes. The powerful engine growls, the window rolls down slowly. Rain pours in cold. "Get in," he says, curt. But there's something else in his voice, almost a plea. Selina holds Maya tighter against her chest. Her eyes reflect. Lightning. "I don't need your ride. Maya's going to get sick," Damien insists, staring at the girl. "Look at her." Maya lifts her head from her mother's shoulder, her eyes big and tired. "Mommy, it's cold." Selina closes her eyes for a second, like someone swallowing pride, and opens the back door. She gets in with her daughter in her arms. Rain drips onto the leather seats, a clash between luxury and reality. Damien watches through the rearview mirror. The silence inside the car weighs heavier than the storm outside. He turns on the heater. The sound of warm air fills the space. Maya sighs in relief, curling up on her mother's lap. Selina dries her with her own hands, caring for her gently. The simple gesture touches Damien in a way he doesn't admit, even to himself. "You shouldn't be walking alone at this hour," he says, trying to sound rational. "I didn't have a choice. The bus was late and I'm not waiting for hours at a dark stop with my daughter." Selina replies firmly. Damien grips the steering wheel. He knows she's right. The city, so bright for some, is dangerous for others. Maya breaks the silence with the innocence that tears down walls. "Mister, are you my mommy's boss?" Damien looks through the mirror. "I am." "Then why did you make her sad that day?" His heart tightens. Selina closes her eyes, embarrassed. "Maya, don't talk like that." "But it's true," the little girl insists. "You looked at her like she was invisible." "But my mommy is important." Damien swallows hard. There's no answer that doesn't condemn him. He simply says, "Your mom is stronger than you know." The car moves down the wet avenue. Neon signs reflect in puddles. Selina adjusts Maya, who dozes off, exhausted. Damien watches the gesture, a mother cradling her child, softly humming an old lullaby. For the first time, he sees Selina without the uniform, without the protocols. Just a woman protecting what matters most. When he parks in front of a small, chip brick building in Inglewood, Selina hesitates. "Thanks for the ride, but don't think this erases what you did." Damien meets her eyes. "I'm not asking for forgiveness, yet." Selina gets out, carrying her daughter. The rain still falls heavily. Damien sits there, watching through the foggy window as she disappears into the simple building. For a moment, the image of her climbing those narrow stairs hurts more than any accusation. He restarts the engine, but before driving off, he gets another message on his phone. This time, unsigned. "If you keep treating her this way, it won't just be your conscience haunting you. There are more eyes than you think." Damien looks at the modest building Selina just entered. His heart races. For the first time in years, he doesn't know if he fears the truth more or the change beginning to grow inside him. The next morning rises gray in San Francisco. Damien Rothwell arrives at company headquarters earlier than usual. Impeccable suit, cold stare, but inside him, a restless night weighs more than any contract. The memory of Selina Brooks soaked in the rain and little Maya asleep in her arms won't leave him. In the glass hallway on the 40th floor, Selina is organizing cleaning supplies. Her uniform is spotless, though worn. Damien stops in front of her, his presence silencing the space. "Selina," he begins, voice low and measured. "I want to apologize for what happened." She looks up, suspicious. An apology or protocol? Her direct tone surprises him, but he doesn't back down. Maybe both. Then save the protocol for the board. As for me, apologies don't erase wounds. Damien takes a deep breath, but doesn't push further. He simply walks away, letting her words echo in his own chest. Hours later, an emergency meeting gathers directors and employees from various departments. The topic: a social project the company was being pressured to finally launch. Damien, used to owning every room, is surprised when Selina is invited by the HR director. She walks through the spaces we ignore every day, the director explains. I want to hear her perspective before we approve any investment. Damien furrows his brow but says nothing. Selina quietly sits in the back. Some executives whisper, uncomfortable. One director asks, "What would be your suggestion to involve the local community in this project?" Selina holds a simple folder where she wrote down ideas. Her steady voice cuts through the room. Start by listening, not dictating. There's no point building tech hubs if there's no safe or accessible way to get there. Invest in lit alleyways, free transport for single mothers, and nighttime childcare. That's the only way real participation happens. The room falls silent. Even the typing stops. Damien watches her with a level of attention he's never given her before. She's no longer the invisible worker with a mop and bucket. She's a woman with strategic insight, impressive clarity, and the courage to face eyes that underestimated her. That's not in the cost reports, the finance director mutters. Because no report shows what happens when the lights go out, Selina replies, her gaze unwavering. Damien adjusts his tie, but there's a flicker of respect in his eyes. For the first time, he doesn't see her as disposable, but as someone who sees what no executive does. After the meeting, as everyone leaves the room, he approaches her. His tone is no longer calculated, it's almost human. You spoke like someone already carrying the burden we pretend to solve. I spoke like someone living the reality you only talk about in charts, Selina replies, gathering her folder. Damien stays silent. He can't stop thinking about her. What was supposed to be just another employee begins to invade his thoughts like a slow-burning spark dot in the hallway. The same HR director walks up to Selina, smiling quietly. You have no idea the impact you made today. But be careful. You've touched interests far too big. Selina feels the weight in those words. She takes a deep breath. Maya runs to meet her in the lobby, hugging her with innocence. As Selina looks at her daughter, she smiles. But deep inside she knows. The powerful world trying to swallow her dignity now sees her, and that could be either salvation or sentence. From above, through the mirrored glass of the building, Damien watches mother and daughter leave. For the first time in a long while, he feels respect and fear of what this new awareness might change in him. The morning sun filters through the tall windows of headquarters, but the brightness doesn't reach the heavy atmosphere hanging in the corridors. In the executive floor cafe, hushed voices spread like poison. Selina Brooks can already feel the stares as she pushes the cleaning cart, but this time they're not the usual looks of indifference, they're judgment. Whispers that cut deeper than silence. She got access to the CEO's floor way too fast, murmurs one analyst, adjusting her glasses. Of course. There's always a way. Seducing the boss is the oldest one, says another, sarcastically. Selina stops for a moment, takes a deep breath, pretends not to hear. But Maya, sitting on a nearby bench with crayons in hand, lifts her head. Mommy, why are they talking like that about you? She forces a smile, though her eyes shine with pain. Because sometimes people speak without knowing the truth. My love, upstairs, a group of executives gathers in a closed-door meeting. One of them laughs mockingly. Just imagine, the janitor turned social project advisor. What's next? Mrs. Rothwell? The room bursts into snickers. But the laughter dies when the door swings open forcefully. Damien Rothwell walks in, tall, imposing, his gaze icy. Silence is immediate. Repeat what you said, he demands, voice low but loaded with restrained fury. The finance director, the same one who had disagreed with Selina earlier, tries to compose himself. Mr. Rothwell, we were just making a casual comment. Casual? Damien steps forward, slamming his hand on the glass table. The thud echoes through the room. You call it casual to destroy the dignity of a woman who carries this company on her back while no one sees her. No one dares to respond. Selina Brooks is an employee. A mother. She's more honest than all of you in this room put together. And if anyone here ever again implies that she trades her dignity for favors, they'll be out of this company that very second. Eyes shift away. One executive, bold enough to try, mutters, "It's not healthy for you to get involved." Damien cuts him off, voice sharp. "I'm not getting involved. I'm standing up for justice. And if you don't know the difference, maybe you don't deserve the badge you wear." Tension chokes the air. Damien takes a deep breath, adjusts his tie, but his eyes are still burning. Meeting's over. Get out. One by one, the executives leave in silence. Only the HR director gives a discreet glance of support, recognizing the shift. Damien remains alone. He looks at the window reflecting the city. Inside, he knows his outburst wasn't just a defense of the truth. It was something deeper. Something he still doesn't dare to name. Hours later, Selina walks down the corridor. She still feels the weight of the stairs, but this time something has changed. A secretary approaches and whispers, "He stood up for you." In front of everyone. Selina stops, surprised. The words echo in her heart. Behind all the arrogance, there was a man who raised his voice against his own. For her doubt at the end of her shift. Leaving through the service entrance with Maya, Selina looks up at the glowing glass floors. An unexpected feeling comes over her. Maybe behind the walls of power, there's a crack where the truth could pass through. Across town, alone in his office, Damien holds his phone. On the screen, another unsigned message. Defending her is only the beginning. Are you ready to lose everything if you keep going? He drops the phone on the desk, closes his eyes. For the first time, he doesn't know if he fears the threat or the change that's starting to take him over. The night silence blankets Damien Rothwell's tower. After the scandal and the unexpected defense, Selina Brooks walks with a heavy heart, trying to understand what had made him stand up to his own executives for her. But something in his expression, not just firmness, there was pain in his eyes, lingers in her mind. Days later, Selina is in the janitor's supply room organizing products when she finds an old box forgotten on the back shelf. Inside, old inventory papers, forgotten reports, and among them, a yellowed photograph. She picks it up carefully. A black woman in a simple maid's uniform, smiling in front of a mansion. On the back, scribbled in blue ink, Margaret Rothwell. Selina's heart skips a beat. Rothwell. She looks again. The resemblance in the facial features is clear. The weight of the discovery makes her pause for breath. Damien's mother had also been a housekeeper. At the end of the day, she decides to confront him. She goes up to the 57th floor, the photo discreetly in her hand. The office is silent, the city lights slicing through the glass. Damien, bent over contracts, looks up as she enters. "We need to talk," Selina says, firmly. He closes the papers, guarded. "About what?" She places the photo on the desk. "About her." Damien freezes. His face hardens, but his eyes betray him. He picks up the photo like it's made of glass. "Where did you get this?" Doesn't matter where. What matters is why you've hidden it. Damien breathes deeply, his voice breaking. My mother spent her life cleaning rich people's homes. I grew up hearing whispers, jokes, doors shutting in our faces. When I made it to the top, I swore no one would ever see me as a maid's son. I buried it. Selina steps closer, eyes steady. You buried your truth. But it's that truth that explains everything. Your distrust, your coldness, your obsession with testing people. You don't trust because no one ever taught you how. Damien runs a hand through his hair, nervous. If people find out, I'll lose respect. In the valley, they don't forgive weakness. Weakness? Selina replies, emotional. Weakness is denying where you come from. Strength is looking in the mirror and admitting your mother paved the way for you. Just like I'm trying to pave the way for my daughter. The silence that follows is heavy, suffocating. He looks at her and for the first time doesn't see just an employee, but someone carrying the same pain he's tried to hide. Selina, you don't understand. If this secret gets out, everything I've built could fall apart. She touches the table lightly, firm. I understand more than you think. Because every day someone looks at me like I don't belong here. You and I were reflections of worlds that never wanted to accept us. The difference is, I don't hide who I am. Damien closes his eyes. The memory of his mother swallowing humiliation in silence hits him like an open wound. She used to tell me never to let anyone treat me like I was invisible. And still I did that to you. Selina feels a lump in her throat, but holds back the tears. The difference is that now you get to choose not to repeat the story. That's the only legacy your mother ever wanted to leave. He lifts his eyes to her, vulnerable, stripped of his usual armor. The moment is intimate, almost forbidden. There's an invisible weight pulling them together. The pain of the past, the fear of the present, and a strange hope for the future. Suddenly, Damien's phone vibrates on the desk. Another anonymous message. Secrets don't stay buried forever. Are you ready for when everyone knows? Damien and Selina exchange tense glances. She realizes the ghost haunting him isn't just the past. It's someone ready to expose the truth. The luxurious ballroom of the San Francisco hotel glows under crystal chandeliers. Soft music echoes as business people and investors mingle among champagne glasses and quiet conversations. Damien Rothwell, flawless in a custom dark blue suit, moves through the room, greeting powerful names from the valley. But behind the polished presence, his eyes are searching for someone. When Selina Brooks enters, the air shifts. Her dress is simple, smooth fabric in a sober color, but her presence is immediately striking. Her loose hair falls in soft waves over her shoulders, and her determined gaze contrasts with the unease of standing in a world that never welcomed her. The executives look at her, some surprised, others with silent disdain. But Damien sees nothing but her. He approaches slowly, cutting through circles of conversation. Stops in front of her, offering his hand. Dance with me. Selina hesitates, uncomfortable with the stares around them. Here? In front of them? Exactly in front of them, Damien replies, firm. She looks at him as if testing whether he still has courage left. Then she gives him her hand. The contact is electric, sending chills through both, on the dance floor, surrounded by judging and whispering eyes. They move slowly to the sound of classical music. Damien leads, but not like the CEO who commands meetings. He is a man letting the steps of the woman in front of him guide something deeper. They're watching us, Selina whispers, feeling the weight of the room. Let them watch. For the first time, I don't care. His gaze consumes her. Every move she makes, every restrained smile, breaks down the wall he spent years building. The silence between them turns into something almost unbearable, a magnetic field on the verge of exploding. The music softens, and Damien leans in, voice husky against her ear. You throw me off, Selina. I never thought anyone could do that. Her heart races, but she tries to resist. I can't afford to be a mistake to you. I have a daughter. You're not a mistake. You never were. And before she can rationalize, his lips meet hers. The kiss is intense, full of restrained desire, but also a genuine emotion both had been trying to deny. The entire room disappears. There are no investors, no rumors. Only the shock of a connection neither expected. When they pull away, Selina is breathless. Her tear-filled eyes show more fear than joy. This shouldn't have happened. Damien gently holds her arm. It was real, and you felt it. Real doesn't pay for school, doesn't guarantee safety. I can't risk Maya's future. She pulls away and walks off. Her simple dress disappears among the expensive suits. Damien remains frozen on the floor, heart racing, but with the bitter sense that he had just tasted something he couldn't afford to lose, and maybe never truly had. The next morning, Selina avoids all contact. She ignores messages, changes her usual route, and stays invisible within the company. But in silence, she fights against the memory of the kiss that set everything on fire. Damien, alone in his office, stares at the city. The reflection in the glass shows a powerful man, but with a growing crack in his chest. He knows he won't forget. Suddenly, a new notification appears on his phone. Another anonymous message. Hearts exposed are easier to destroy than reputations. Be careful who you let in. He closes his eyes, sensing that something much bigger than his own will was about to unfold. The storm Selina had felt coming finally arrives. Not from the sky, but within the glass corridors of the company. An emergency board meeting is called. Damien Rothwell walks into the grand room, but instantly senses the tension. The oldest partner, Victor Harrington, smiles in a calculated way, as if already setting up the blow. On the table, folders with documents, reports, and printed emails supposedly sent by Damien himself. All of them contain questionable financial decisions, approvals of fraudulent contracts, and orders that, if real, would destroy his credibility with investors. Gentlemen, Victor announces with fake solemnity, what you have before you is proof that Damien Rothwell diverted funds and acted against the company's interests. I propose his immediate removal. Murmurs grow among the executives. Damien grabs the papers, examines them, and feels the blood drain from his face. The signatures look like his, but he knows he never authorized any of it. This is a setup, he says firmly. Victor fakes outrage. A setup? There are dates, logs, all validated by internal servers. Denial won't help you. The board starts to divide. Some whisper that they can't risk the company's image. Others say justice must be done. Damien tries to speak, but every word comes out sounding desperate. Meanwhile, in the hallway, Selina drops Maya off at the improvised daycare on the lower floor. On her way back, she overhears two assistants whispering in a hurry. They're using altered files from the server, but no one noticed the metadata doesn't match. The word metadata lights up in her mind. Even without a tech background, Selina knows the routine of the technical floors. She knows that the backup computers are in the basement, and that the tech in charge, a young man from a humble background like hers, always offered her coffee when she cleaned that area. She rushes down and finds the young man in front of the screens. Please, I need you to show me the logs from that day. It's important. He hesitates. Selina, I could lose my job. And Damien could lose everything over a lie. Help me. For the truth, convinced by her honest tone, he opens the files. Within seconds, the proof appears. The emails that incriminated Damien were inserted later, with a creation timestamp that didn't match the sending time. Someone altered this. It's fraud, the text says. Stunned, Selina prints the report and runs back up to the boardroom. The doors are just about to close when she bursts in, out of breath, gripping the sweat-damp papers. "Stop this meeting right now." The executives turn, offended. "What is this? This room is restricted." Damien stands up, surprised. "Selina?" She faces them all, fearless. "That evidence is fake. These are the original logs. The files were added later, at different times. If you want justice, look at the truth, not traps." A heavy silence falls over the room. Victor tries to react. This is outrageous. A janitor can't interfere in million-dollar decisions, not a janitor. A citizen who knows what dignity is, Selina replies, steady. The HR directs the papers, quickly analyzes them. She's right. The metadata doesn't match. This is clearly doctored. All eyes turn to Victor. His smile vanishes. "You're really going to believe her?" Damien glares at him. "I believe her because she has more truth in one word than you've shown in your entire career." The board erupts into confusion. Victor tries to defend himself but is silenced. Security escorts him out of the room. Damien, still stunned, looks at Selina. His once shielded heart doesn't hold. He walks toward her, voice trembling. "I wanted to test you, Selina. But in the end, I was the one being tested." Her eyes shine, but her stance remains strong. "You don't need to thank me. You need to decide who you want to be from now on." Damien lowers his head. For the first time in years, quiet tears fall. His wall finally cracks completely. Selina watches him, but knows every choice from here on comes with an even higher price. Suddenly, Damien's phone vibrates on the table. Another unsigned message. "You escaped this time, but not from what's coming." The boardroom still breathed the weight of the betrayal just exposed. Victor had been escorted out by security, and the board members whispered among themselves, shocked by the twist. But Damien didn't hear a thing. His eyes were locked on Selina, who stood firm, as if she'd been born to challenge a world that had always tried to silence her. When everyone left, only the two of them remained. The silence was broken only by the faint sound of Damien's uneven breathing. He stepped forward slowly, like someone afraid of losing what he just realized was essential. "Selina," he said, voice deep but shaky. "I spent my whole life believing power was protection, that money had all the answers. But today I found out none of that can save me. You did. Not just from Victor's trap, but from myself." She looked away, holding her own wrist like it was the last line of defense she had left. "Damien, don't confuse gratitude with love. I didn't do this expecting anything in return. I did it because I can't stand to see injustice win." He stepped closer, his eyes wet. "It's not gratitude, it's love. For the first time in my life, I know what that means. Selina, I want you. And I want Maya. I want to be a part of your world if you'll let me. Not as the CEO everyone fears, but as a man who learned too late what truly matters." The words hung heavy in the air, and Selina's heart pounded unevenly. Fear made her hesitate. "Damien, I've lived through too many broken promises. My daughter doesn't need glass castles that collapse with the first gust of wind. She needs safety, truth, someone who loves her without conditions." Then Damien knelt in front of her, a gesture unimaginable from a man who had always prided himself on never bowing to anyone. "I don't promise perfection. I promise to fight every day to be the man you both deserve. Not because of my fortune, but because of what I've learned from you. Please, Selina, give me a chance." Her eyes filled with tears. Selina knelt too, meeting him at eye level, and held his hands. "I accept, Damien, but not because of your money, not because of your name. I accept because you finally learned to see who we really are. And that's what makes all the difference. At that moment, the door opened gently. Maya came running in, with the innocence of someone unaware of the storm that had just passed. She threw herself into her mother's arms, but soon looked curiously at Damien. He looked back at her like he was witnessing a miracle. Selina stroked her daughter's hair and, looking at Damien, whispered, "If you really want to prove your love, start with her. Win Maya's heart, and mine will follow." Damien smiled through tears, gently touching the girl's hand. She didn't pull away. It was a simple gesture, but in that touch was the promise of a new beginning. From then on, their love grew, not in grand gestures, but in shared silences, in Maya's laughter filling the house, in Damien discovering that making a simple breakfast for the two of them meant more than any billion-dollar deal. Over time, the cold hallways of the company stopped being his only priority. He no longer saw himself as the Iron Man ruling from a glass tower, but as someone who finally learned that the greatest power is to love without a mask, and the lesson became clear. To him and everyone around him, true wealth isn't found in control or money, but in the ability to recognize human value and let yourself be transformed by genuine love. And so we reach the end of this story of love, resilience, and transformation. But now I want to hear from you. What did you think of this plot? Leave your rating from 0 to 10 in the comments and tell us how much this story moved you. If you enjoyed it, like this video, share it with someone who also loves deep stories. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapters. And before you go, I've already picked out another story for you, even more emotional, one that might touch your heart in an unexpected way. Don't miss it.